Hello and welcome to another installment of Comparative Reasoning. I'm your host, Cedric Kennedy, and earlier I listened to a blog, and it's by James Finn, the blog, and the title is "These Gay Men Are Partners, Not Predator and Victim." And there's going to be a link in the description to this article, which is a really good one, using personal account and other things. Now, the one thing he talked about in this was being called or claimed as a pedophile for what these things are, which are an age difference, maybe 20, 15, 30, maybe 40 years between partners. That's some would say robbing the cradle, but it's weird, but I've always said that as sort of a just LOL. I never meant it derogatory. And it's probably something I need to stop saying because people just toxify everything. It's just nasty. And what he talked about was a pedophile. People calling them pedophiles or pedophiles, which I guess which side of the pond you're on. It's like those who are 40 years old going, and they're dating or in love with someone that's 25, they're a pedophile. Or somebody that's 60 with somebody that's 30 or 20. Same thing. What James Finn didn't mention, maybe it was just too much. He tried to keep his post relatively short, on average a 5-minute read, which is a good thing because I can put it in Google Translate and just listen to it. I wish there was another translator I could put it in and just, listen to it or something like that. That'd be better. So what he didn't go over was the fact that pedophile, what people don't realize is today, that term pedophile or pedophile here in the United States of America, United States of Northern America, you can go with that too. That word almost has no actual meaning other than triggering the human attack dog. See, if you are someone that, look, let's say you are somebody that you are interested in somebody that happens to be, let's say, not even teenage. They might be in the double digits, but they're not teenage yet. While I am against that, you can't call that person a pedophile. They might, an illicit act with an underage person, okay. But if they do it again or something like that, if they got to do something. They can't just think, they just can't desire. They actually have to do something, people, to do or attempt. Okay? Attempt is practically the same as do. Because if someone didn't, or someone or you or something did not block, then it would have happened. So the attempt and or doing must happen. Then you've engaged in that unlawful act. But then if you keep going back, or you not to the same person, it has to be somebody different. Because it can't be the same person. If it's the same person, then that's just, and that person is willing, wanting, yada yada. That's when you got to talk to others. I refuse to be some kind of authority on judgment of that stuff. But if you got a habit of this with different people and you just playing your field with these underage people, then that's when you can put the pedophile tact on, because it's habitual. If someone lies to you, it doesn't make them a liar. It makes them someone that told a lie. But if they keep lying to you, then they are a liar because they won't stop. And if all they do is lie, everything that comes out their mouth is roughly a lie, then they're a habitual liar, meaning you can't trust them by any means. And it's pretty much like that immediately if they're going to keep lying about stuff they don't even need to lie about. They're just doing it. When in prison systems, when someone is judged as a pedophile or a pedophile, depending upon what pond side of the pond you're on, that person's not going to make it out alive. I've known that since the 90s. And in the late 90s, early 2000s, it became the social, not norm, but expectation that if somebody gets into prison and they got that label that they're a child molester, pedophile, or something, yeah, they're dead. They're good as dead. But people probably just can't wait to kill somebody anyway. You know, look at what these big corporations are doing. Think of the hundreds of thousands of people they kill every day. Anyway, what James Finn didn't mention was the fact that when they use this, it's not in the prison system anymore. Now it's in, it's in general society. It's out on the streets. And they'll call someone a pedophile because they know that the public at large will go after them and try to kill them. Or the police will nab them, put them in prison, and they are surely going to die. And that's what is wrong. If you're going to label something, make sure you do it properly. Do it right. If you find some dude that's like, man, I don't know, wow, that 11-year-old girl is kind of hot. They're not a pedophile. It's like they have an interest, but be like a museum. You can look, don't touch. It's not hard. But then some people feel that entitlement or it's just too strong for them. And then they have to go and do something. If they go in and start talking to that underage person with the intent to go further, yeah, you got to nab them. That's just me. That's how I see that. All right. You got to ask yourself, what if it's the opposite? What if it's the opposite? What if that underage person is straight up, hell-bent, full knowledge, set on obtaining that older person? And when I say underage, I'm talking 14, 16. And I'm not saying what gender or sex. I'm saying person. If that person is like, I got to have that other person or guy or girl or whatnot, what do? They in full-fledged knowledge of what's going on. Do we treat them like they're an idiot? Because you know what's going to happen. The more you say no, the more they're going to say go. I don't know why it's like that, but it's like that. It's strange. It's weird. I don't really understand that point because if someone told me no, I thought about it. And I'm like, well, okay, the pros and cons, the best that I can come up with because nobody's going to tell me anything. And then I'd be like, okay, it's just best I don't do it. It was just that simple for me. Stay out of trouble, best that you can, yada, yada, yada. But most people just aren't like that. You tell them no, and it's like, I'm going to go even further. And so when I read everything about what James Finn had to say, it also brought up the other thing about age. And they use that because people hate same-sex relationships. That's what this was about. This is about same-sex relationships and people since society has this subculture now that outright abhors it, then that means they got to have a dog whistle in the fight with that dog. Blow it every time to make sure that dog says, I'm going to kill this. And that's what they do. So they'll say, hey, look at that. Look at him. 45-year-old dude with some 25-year-old. He's a pedophile. Go get him. Go get him. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to rage about it and keep talking about it, call him a child mo and stuff. And then say he's probably done it to even younger kids. And he's probably done it to underage. And then ultimately somebody's going to go and handle it. That's what they do. That is an abuse of free speech. That's when you incite attempted murder. And man, if there was a law for that, inciting attempted murder, saying things that would get someone or someone to go out and cause harm and or death to someone or someone's. Oh, if there was only a law for that, because if there were, you know how many people in the United States of America would be in prison and or on death row? See what I'm saying? people would be a little more measured with their words instead of just saying, I don't like the fact that you're same sex. I'm going to say and do everything I can to get others to hurt you. It'd be a little more measured. And then maybe some would just say, is this even meaningful? Go live your damn life. You know, he ends with, I'm not going to tell you what's in the rest, but I like the ending. He says, Boris Johnson is not a pedophile. Alex Morris is not a pedophile. Glenn Greenwald is not a pedophile. And my partner Lenny was not a pedophile. Neither is David Pollard, who this article predominantly was about. Can we all just grow up a little? And my only note on that is growing up. No, it's not about growing up, because these people are grown. You know, I'm going to talk to you, personally, James Finn, because I like James Finn. I like him. I like him. I follow him on Twitter and on Comparative Reasoning on Medium. I follow him. It's not about growing up, because these are some grown ass men and grown ass women doing this. These are the same people that can't wait to harm transgender. They can't wait to harm anyone that's just not just white, Christian, and probably well-to-do. And oftentimes it's those who are not so well-to-do that's going out doing the bidding of the well-to-do that make these posts and stuff, that can't wait for someone to go kill somebody in their name. They just spoke something, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. That's why those laws would be really good. Don't you think, James? Just saying. And for those that, James Finn, he's earned his stripes in life. He's earned them. Okay. At the bottom, in closing, which he puts at the bottom of all of his, and I like this. But James Finn is a former Air Force intelligence analyst, longtime LGBTQ activist, and alumnus of Queer Nation and ACT UP New York, and essayist occasionally published in queer news outlets, and an agented novelist. And it tells you where you can send questions, comments, and story ideas to him through his jamesfinnwrites@gmail.com. So I'm going to link you to the article that he posted and whatnot. As I said already, it's a really good one, as they all are. And hey, what do I always say? Thank you for listening. And when you go to him, I'm sure he'll be thanking you for reading, as even I would do on Medium. I say thank you for reading. So, ciao for now.